Oh,
Whenever you're ready.
of course. Hello, my name is Jonathan Hai, and this is my partner, Austin Royster. And sorry, I have to read more for it. It's just a second round. We are advocating today about whether or not college tuition at public schools should be free. And to begin, I'm introducing the topic. Higher education in California was practically free a few decades ago. It's hard to imagine now in such a day and age, but in 1970, the only cost that a student would have to pay to attend a public college was $150 for the University of California system. Many college students who attend college and graduate with student loans in the form of student debt, to which public college tuition for resident students is much less than tuition for private colleges due to the amount of subsidization that the government spends on public college, but not enough to make it free still. The cost of attending college has dramatically increased over the last 30 years, where in the last 30 years tuition has increased on an average of 1,120%. And according to a recent article in the Wall Street Journal, college tuition has risen 3 times as fast as the Consumer Price Index, which is basically the cost of consumer products versus inflation, and twice as fast as medical care in the past decade. As well as that, American student debt is actually one of the largest kinds of debt in the United States economy. Of the major kinds of loans there are, featuring auto loans, car loans, student loans are one of the largest economic debts that exist in the economy, only behind mortgages. Standing at $1.3 trillion, each of around 1 million students carries these debts. In addition to that, the student obligation of funding has increased with the decrease in government funding. As cited by Mitchell, Leachman, and Atherton of the Center of Budget and Policy Priorities, after adjusting for inflation, funding for public 2-year and 4-year colleges is nearly $10 billion below what it was prior to the 2008 recession. To begin, public college tuition should be free because of how students are the future of this nation, and their success will directly influence the success of the United States versus competing nations in this day and age. In 2013, there were 1,604,000 students enrolled in public colleges in California. That amount is staggering to know that in the future, these students will be working at jobs that will influence how this country is run, where this country goes, and how far this country will influence the world. People with bachelor's degrees also typically make around 84% more than high school graduates, meaning that college education is a valuable aid in the value of people's work as they work in the future. With that, lower income college attendances have dropped 10% from 2008 to 2013, which 2008 was the year that the Great Recession, the year of the Great Recession in recent years, where in 2008, 56% of such high school graduates enrolled in college, but in 2013 that figure has dropped to 45.5% among low-income students. This is cited by Scott Jasek of Insider Higher Ed, a news site that covers higher education. With that, there is a high unemployment rate of recent college graduates in the US. Because of this, it can be argued that it is unfair for students to be obligated to pay such a large amount back when they both have no means of paying that sum back, and when they also do not have a guarantee of being able to pay it back due to the unemployment rate of recent college graduates being around 46%, as cited by Forbes. 47% of students who have completed college and 49% of students who are also still in college have had reconsiderations in having attended or completed college because of the impact that student debt has on their finances. As many of us know, we are all students coincidentally at a public college, and even though education is heavily discounted by the federal government, it is still not free, and many students end up feeling that debt after they have graduated and are stuck in a situation where they cannot pay this debt. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. With that, the average person takes 21 years to repay bachelor's degree student loans, which is almost twice the length of the intended 10-year period of which it is intended to be paid. This with the interest rate on standard student loans, which is around 4%, ends up leading that students will end up paying twice the principal that they borrowed during their time in school and take 21 years to pay that in the future. Which is 21 years of the average person's life is around a quarter of their life. So saddling someone with a quarter of their life to pay a debt that they incurred in just 4 years is preposterous, considering that mortgages are usually around the same time range. Along with that, this system where students have to pay for an education is also yielding a frightening reality where students are not pursuing majors that are perceived as being unprofitable, such as the arts, the humanities, and language studies, to name a few. With that, according to John Marcus from the Heringer Report, a news site which is dedicated to covering education, a professor of economics in Germany has said she is herself the first of her family to go to college. She started college majoring in comparative literature and political science, but says that she changed her mind because that once she knew that her salaries versus the amount of loans she had to pay, she knew that she did not have a good chance of being able to pay that back, so she ended up switching her mind. Many students can relate to this because even though many students have a dream of pursuing an interest that they like, these students also end up finding that they have to choose between making a difference and making a living, whether or not they want to succeed in the future after college. So my plan of action is that we, as a country, should make public college tuition free because the cost itself would not be astronomically large, as some might claim, at only $63.2 billion, where the amount that the government currently spends on public education is already $117 million. And these funds will come from charitable contributions such as scholarship organizations, increases in taxes, and state lotteries, to name a few. Thank you.